This is the 2023 Jaguar F-Pace SVR, and it might just be the best undervalued performance SUV you can buy on the market right now. And what makes this SVR completely different from the regular F-Pace is this new bumper, which has massive openings to get air into the engine to get it cooled. On top of that, it comes with a new grille that tells you have an SVR, and under the hood, it's completely different compared to the regular F-Pace. And under the hood, this car is completely special. It boasts a 5-liter supercharged V8 that makes 550 horsepower to all wheels, so you get a crazy launch with no slip. And compared to the regular F-Pace, the differences just don't stop at the front end. This car comes with upgraded wheels. They're bigger, the ride height is lower, and compared to its German competitors, it's still nice and subtle. So you can ride in luxury while also beating all the Mercedes. And on this car, the rear end got a complete facelift, not only from the regular F-Pace, but in the 2023 year, they completely changed the lights. It gives it a much more modern look. But compared to the regular F-Pace, you can tell that this one's a real sporty model, because when you look at the bottom half of the bumper, it comes with quad exhausts that sound absolutely amazing. This amazing diffuser, and of course the SVR badge, which makes it stand out compared to anything else. And compared to its competitors like the X5M and the Mercedes GLE 63S, and also its stepping stone brother, the Land Rover Range Rover SVR, this car beats them in all categories. It sounds better, the interior is arguably better, the styling is much better just because it's very calm. It's not too out there, you're not trying to show off, but everyone knows what you have. But the best thing about this car is that it can be had for the price point of a base X5, a GLC 43, and maybe a Range Rover Evoque. And the fenders on this car have been extended by 1 inch compared to the regular F-Pace, and it really gives this car the signature performance SUV stance. If you come around back, you can really start to notice it just along these lines. And I think the only car that can really compete with this car's stance is probably the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio, but compared to this car's reliability, I don't think you can meet this car's price. All right, but let's actually get down to the important stuff of an SUV. I know this feels like a sports car because it has everything it needs to be just competitive with even cars like the C63, but we actually have to look into stuff like practicality, because this is an SUV, and if you're trying to buy a performance SUV, it's because of both practicality and performance. So let's open the trunk. And in here, you'll see all our recording equipment. It shows how easily we fit that in there. We could fit easily 4 to 5 times what we fit in there. So actually with the seats up, it has 33.5 cubic inches of space, which competes with the BMW X5, but it actually beats out the Porsche Cayenne. So you get more trunk space, more performance, all for cheaper than the Porsche Cayenne. So I think this might be way better than the Cayenne. And if you put the seats down, you actually get over 60 cubic inches of space, which means you can fit multiple Costco hauls in here with no issues. And of course, this car has a power tailgate, so if you don't want to use your arm strength, hit that button and it does it for you. And while we're on the topic of practicality of this car, let's talk about the rear seats. They're absolutely massive considering the bucket seats up front, which you think would take up more room than they really do. You can easily fit 5 adults in there, and if it's just kids in the back seat, even better. They have unlimited room and they get to ride in a luxurious cabin. So as you can see, the SVR doesn't sacrifice practicality and luxury for performance. You get all 3 in a really nice package for a great price. And as you can see, the seats are absolutely beautiful. Alrighty. And just before we step inside the driver's seat and experience that beautiful cabin, I'm going to address one important thing, which is reliability. The Jaguar is known to have electrical issues, but this SVR specifically has proven components which are known to always work and never fail. And that 5-liter V8 has been used for generations, probably since the early 2000s, and so it's been proven that it holds power, it's reliable, it does everything right. Most of these claims are just overblown by people who have never driven these cars. It's kind of the same as many other cars. Of course, with any used car, Get yourself a pre-purchase inspection before you buy it, but I don't think you'll find anything wrong with the reliability throughout your ownership. So that we're gonna step inside now. And so the back seats were amazing. And if you thought the back was amazing, take a look at the front. This interior comes with red leather bucket seats, a leather wrapped steering wheel that's heated, and it has all the assist that you really need. And so you can tell the quality of a car compared to something like maybe a BMW when you close the door. When you close the door, you really hear a thud. There's no rattle, there's no nothing, just straight quality. And so when we climb this Jaguar, you completely forget about the SVR. It doesn't feel like a sports car. It feels more like a luxury SUV. And I think that's not really a drawback at all, especially if you're driving this every day. You want to be stuck in something that's comfortable and not really rigid. I know those GLEs, especially those BMW M's, terrible daily drivers. And so I would rather be in this interior all day than spend an hour in an X5. If you look at all the surfaces, the leather wrapped heated steering wheel, you turn on the heat, it has lane keep, it has cruise control, it has this amazing Meridian sound system, it has premium materials everywhere, like this Alcantara leather everywhere. Not a single place was cheaped out when they made this car. This beautiful infotainment system, even this leather wrapped armrest. The only reminder that you're in a sports car is these SVR branded seats that bolster amazingly. I think these are the best seats in the market. They're more comfortable than the BMW ones, and they're better bolstered than the AMG ones. It's just a perfect SUV inside and out. And one more amazing thing this car has that some of these other sports SUVs don't have is this amazing panoramic sunroof that lets you see everything above you, and it makes you really feel like you're in a nice luxury cabin. And the roof actually does open, unlike some other manufacturers. Something that really makes this car special, especially in today's modern age, it combines this modern screen that has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It's very fast, very intuitive. It never has any lag, but it still has physical climate control dials. And I know that sounds kind of obvious for a car to have physical climate control dials, but nowadays that's a scarce resource. I know even the Mustangs have switched to that. Many other cars, the Golf R has switched to that. So it's really nice to be able to have physical climate control dials that are always good to work. You don't need to pay attention to these. And so you can just keep your eyes on the road and flip the climate control switch with no issues. And as you can see, the rear seat space is still amazing. I am 6'1" myself. I have amazing headroom, and this is behind my driving position, and my driving position is really far back compared to the average person, and I still can fit in here comfortably. I wouldn't mind spending a few hours back here with no issues, and especially with the headroom. If you're 6, I think 6, you should fit in here, especially with your head back. But yeah, the seat space is absolutely amazing, especially compared to some of the other SUVs in the market, especially the coupe SUVs with the sloping headlines. They're terrible for tall people, so this is just right. So this car also has multiple different drive modes. So this cluster is where you control all the drive modes and how to really operate the car in a fun or comfortable way. You can turn on and off the exhaust by pressing this yellow button right here, and it goes to white as soon as it's off. It's an audible difference. You guys might not be able to hear it because the cabin is very well insulated, but it's a very audible difference between between closed valves and open valves. And so one amazing thing I love about this car is how to switch to drive modes. You press this button and it lets you turn the wheel. So right now we're in dynamic mode. It's what we've been filming in the whole video, and just because the exhaust stays open and this revs a lot nicer. But when you want to drive in comfort, you have comfort mode. It shuts the exhaust down, it loosens up the suspension, the steering wheel gets significantly lighter, and it just changes into a completely different vehicle. And I think that's what's so special about this. And so I know some of you guys' issues might be, oh my god, the gas mileage is so bad. Well, luckily this car does have an eco mode. Does it make a difference? No. But you know, it's if you're trying to convince your significant other or your parents that, you know, it has an eco mode, so even the 5-liter V8 can be fuel efficient. Well, you can convince them now because it's an eco. And so the last mode is snow mode and off-road mode, and it does do low traction. So since we live in a rather good climate, it really only rains here, snows maybe once a year. we never really need to use this mode. You can just, it's still all-wheel drive, so you can be successful in the snow even in dynamic mode. So it's just, there's no reason to put it in ADSR. But yeah, in this center console, I would also like to mention this SVR shift knob. It's a lot better than the other ones. It's a nice leather wrapped. It's very premium feeling. There's this park button, sort of start button as well, and then the volume dial for the music. And so now we're just gonna move on to some of the other features that the interior has. So it does have 360 cameras, and it's a 3D camera, so it's like, for this price range, I don't think there's any other car in the world that you can really get all of this stuff in it. So it does have parking sensors, but this is it does auto park actually. I don't trust that in any car. It doesn't matter if it's a Mercedes or anything. I don't trust it, but I can park my own cars. But yeah, see, as you can see, you just press any corner of the car. You make sure your parking is perfect. You make sure you don't want to hit a curb. I know some people are very prone to hitting curbs, but I think you won't have a problem with this car just because it's so safe and family friendly. And so it's just a perfect overall car. All right, so let's be honest. You're not buying an SVR for the luxury benefits that it has. There's many other luxury cars you can buy. You can buy a regular F-Pace if you really want the luxury. Let's get down to what's actually important, and that's the performance aspect of this car. So under the hood, as we talked about it, it has a 5-liter supercharged V8 that makes 550 horsepower and 502 pound-feet of torque to all 4 wheels. But that is optional because this car has an amazing rear diff that can send all 100% of power to the rear wheels, so you can really get some rotation on turns, and it makes the handling significantly better. You will see the handling in the POV drive video that's going to be uploaded shortly after this video. But yeah, it's an amazing car. So it's sometimes cars have amazing engines but terrible transmissions. But safe to say, this car's ZF 8-speed will have no drawbacks. It's about as fast as a DCT, obviously not as fast, but you get the comfortability of the ZF 8-speed, the daily drivability. I know those DCTs can be hard to use for some people, especially if you're buying someone who's not into cars, this vehicle, which I've seen some people buy this just because it is a top line, so it's understandable why they put a ZF instead of a DCT. But yeah, this car is hands down the best performance car. I'm gonna say car. And so yeah, hands down, this is the best performance SUV, and might I say just car in general. There's nothing that compares to it at its price. It can be had for 50,000 USD used, which is nearly $100,000 off the brand new MSRP. And I think for 50K used, there's nothing better. A brand new GLE 350 is $75,000 USD for a base spec with nothing done to it. And I don't think a GLE 350 will get you the stares, laughing moments, and just fun and absolute terror that this car provides compared to anything else in its range. And so yeah, back to its competitors, the X5M and the GLE 63S. So I've done my market research. The cheapest X5M I could find in my province was $100,000 for a used one, and the cheapest GLE 63, which is relatively new, the new ones with the 4-liter V8, is still over $100,000 used, which is absolutely comical compared to this car, because this car gives you everything those cars have, but for half the price, if not more than half in the Mercedes case. So would you really consider those cars when there's this that exists? Those cars do, the BMW doesn't really have the proven reliability of the Mercedes. The Mercedes does have some good reliability, but there still has some drawbacks. It's not perfect, and neither is this car. But the thing is, when you spend $50,000 instead of $100,000, you could spend more fixing the car and more having fun than what you would with the GLE or the X5. So I think you should really consider this car as your daily driver or even a weekend car. It'll do both perfectly fine. And so yeah, I want to end the video here. A POV drive, like I said, will be uploaded shortly after this video because I want you guys to really be immersed in the vehicle instead of just seeing me drive it from the side. So we're going to be recording the POV drive shortly right after this. But yeah, under 50,000, nothing better than this car. I don't think you'll find anything. That 50,000 Canadians, around 35,000 USD for my international audience. So for $35,000, you can't get a brand new Mustang base model. You can't get anything. You can't even get a Supra, and those are both slower than this. So please consider this car and just take your time, obviously, but this car is perfect. And so yeah, if you aren't satisfied by what I've seen and shown in this vehicle today in this video, make sure to check out my TikToks, because they will have all the exhaust clips that you guys really want. You guys heard that supercharger whine as well in that clip I posted in this video. So hands down, best sounding, best driving, best priced, great reliability. I can't stop going on about how perfect this car is at its price point. So if you are in the market for a used, even a new SUV, consider this used one. It's better than any new one. It's better than any Mazda, Honda that you're gonna spend $50,000 already on. Might as well buy something nice. And if it's a little bit of an issue with gas, remember, it's miles per gallon and not miles per gallon. And so yeah, to end this video, this is pedal to the metal, and we'll be uploading weekly YouTube videos, if not bi-weekly if we have 2 cars in a week. So follow, turn on the notifications to never miss a video, and keep learning about cars that you can buy for a great price and that are also great to drive. So I want to make sure that I end on that note. All right, see you guys next time.